Hi guys, join me today for a sew along of the new Kitty Leo from Retro Sparkle Designs. So our seam allowances are going to be 3/8 an inch, and I just want to point out that the grain line is opposite of the stretch. You want a nice stretchy knit fabric, and I'm going to go ahead and show you the pieces that you need to cut out here in the next clip. So to start, you're going to want 2 sleeves. I did long sleeves, but you can also do short. 2 hood pieces in the main, and notice I cut down that line in the main, so I have 2 front pieces of my hood, I have 2 liner pieces, I have 2 back pieces, and I'm pointing to where we're going to be clipping our tail. I have a front piece that was cut on the fold. I have our tail piece, 2 of those, 2 leg bands, 4 ears, and 2 snap plackets. Not shown here are the snaps and the interfacing for the snaps. So this is the batting also that I'm going to use. It's nice and fluffy. To start, put your 2 tail pieces right sides together, clip around, and we're going to go ahead and sew around the curves. We're going to leave that top piece open so that we can stuff our tail. Here I'm at my serger, making sure things are lined up. You're going to go ahead and sew around. You may need to go a little bit slower around the curve. You can also just kind of take it off and then put it back on to get that other side. Once you've got that done, you're going to go ahead and flip it right side out. So to flip it right side out, I have a straw that I'm going to push in all the way, and then I have a little chopstick. I'm going to go ahead and push it back through, and it will allow me to turn it right side out pretty easily. You could also use a safety pin if you do not have a tube turner. A straw and a chopstick would also work. Now we're going to stuff the tail with the batting. I'm just taking little pieces and pushing it down with the chopstick. It was a little hard with the chopstick. I ended up getting my tube turner straw, but just be patient. This took a hot minute. Piece by piece, just kind of shove it in there and push it down, getting it to the fullness that you want. I wanted mine to be nice and full, so I used a decent amount of batting. This is sped up, so you don't have to watch this whole process. It took probably a good 5 minutes for me to get this stuffed the way I wanted it to be. Now we've got our tail. You can see that top part is open. I go ahead and serge it shut. This is not a part of the instructions. It just helps me to line it up when I add it to the back of my Leo. You do not have to do this, but it does help me. Here's what my tail looks like, serged shut at the top. And we're ready to work on our ears. So take the front and back of your ears and put them right sides together. Clip around the top of the ears. We're not going to sew the bottom at this time, just the tops. I used felt here, but you could also just use regular fabric. And this is what my ears looked like. Now that I have sewn them, I'm going to go ahead and flip my ears right side out. My felt was pretty stiff, so I wasn't worried about the ears standing up, but you could also put a little bit of batting in there if you like. And then again, just like the tail, I went ahead and serged that little bottom edge of my ears, making it easier for me to attach. Now that we've got our ears and our tail done, let's go ahead and put our tail onto our back piece. So you have to decide whether you want your tail up or down. I decided I want the little curly part up, so I put it right where my clips were from the notch on the pattern. Put your tail on top of one of the pieces and then sandwich it between the other back piece and sew down to attach. Now we've got our tail attached. It's time to add our front piece. So take the front piece of the Leo and put it face down on top of your back with right sides together. And we're going to go ahead and sew those top shoulder seams together, just like so. Now that I've done that, I'm going to open it up Opening up my Leo, so the front is at the top there and the bottom, or the back is at the bottom. Next, I'm going to take my sleeves and I'm going to line them up, the center of my sleeve to that shoulder seam. Clip it right there, and then go ahead and clip each end of the sleeve to the end of your arm opening. And then you can kind of line it up all the way around. Everything should match up evenly. And once you have it the way you like it, you're going to go ahead and take it to your serger and sew to attach your sleeve. Here I am just sewing it. It kind of goes around, so you need to stop and line things up as you go. You'll repeat this process for your other sleeve, and the process is, of course, the same for your short sleeves. Now my sleeves are attached. I'm going to go ahead and fold my Leo on top of itself, the front on top of the back, lining up the sleeves and the sides. Clip everything evenly, line up that underarm seam, making sure that everything is matched up. And once you have your side and your sleeve clipped on both sides, you will take it to your machine and sew down the sleeve and the side. When I get to the underarm part, I tend to just pull it straight as I go. That way I don't end up with any holes. And we are ready to close our Leo. Now we've done that, I'm going to go ahead and flip our Leo right side out. So we have our sleeves assembled. Basically all we have left to do now is our snap placket and the hood. So let's go ahead and work on that snap placket. First, take your two leg bands and put them wrong sides together. It helps if you clip them. And then you're going to go ahead and find the middle of your leg band and match it up with that side seam along the leg opening. And then match up both ends, so you can see I am clipping my leg band to the one side leg opening of my Leo. And then we're going to go ahead and sew our leg band to attach. Here you're going to need to gently stretch that leg band as you go, making sure that everything is even and that you're catching both layers of the leg band and the Leo. You're going to go ahead and repeat this for your other leg band, and that's what it'll look like attached. Now that we've got our leg bands attached, let's work on our snap plackets. So I took interfacing and I laid it on top of the wrong side of my snap placket, and then fold your snap placket in half with the right sides together as I'm showing you. I'm going to do that for both, and then we're going to sew both ends of each snap placket like so, and then flip them right side out. And once we've done that, you'll see we have two nicely finished snap plackets that are ready to attach to our Leo. Next, we're going to take those snap plackets and put them right sides together, lining up the raw edge of the placket with that raw edge of the crotch. You're going to go ahead and do this for the front and the back pieces, and then take it to our machine to attach. So here's my backstitch trick to make it so that it is secure. Start serging towards this finished edge. Lift your foot, flip everything over, put it back under your foot, put your foot down, and then start serging again. This will make it so that my snap placket does not come apart from my leg band. Same thing when I get to the other side, I'm going to go ahead and flip it over, put it back under, and then serge again. Alternatively, you can just tuck those tails in, but I just find that this is more secure and a lot faster. As you can see, it is on there pretty securely. Now we've got our plackets added to both the front and the back. And we're going to go ahead and work on our hood pieces. So you need to decide where you want your earpiece to go. I decided 2 inches down and put your cat ear right sides together with that straight edge of your hood. Do it for both sides, and then you're going to put that little front flap piece that we cut and line it up and sew to attach, making sure you caught both the ear edges and the hood flap in the back piece. Next, take your main hood pieces and put them right sides together and sew along that top edge. So our main piece is now complete. I'm just opening up my hood. This is what it will look like. We've got our ears in there. We're going to go ahead and do our liner as well. So sew around that top raw edge of your liner. The right sides were together. And then we're going to go ahead and open up our liner. So I'm opening up my liner, right sides up, and then I'm opening up my main, right sides down. I'm lining up that top seam and both of the side edges, and then go ahead and clip around the top of your hood, making sure everything is even. You're gonna end up sewing around that top edge, and we're gonna leave the bottom open for now. So once I've got everything the way I want it, I sewed it together, and I'm ready to open up my hood and turn it right sides out. This is what my hood piece will look like. I like to serge the bottom edge of my hood too to make sure that things are lined up nicely when I go to attach it to my Leo. This is just an extra step that I do that helps me, but you obviously do not need to do that. You could also baste those two front pieces together if you like, as they could slightly overlap. Next, I'm taking the back seam of my hood and lining up with the back of my Leo. Right sides of my hood are right sides to my Leo, and I'm wrapping my hood around that neck opening. Bring those two cross pieces of your hood to the front. You're going to cross them over where the center is, like so. And then we're going to go ahead and serge our hood on to attach. Make sure when you go to serge that you've got those two front pieces secure so that they stay in place where you wanted them to be. Now we've got our hood attached. We're going to go ahead and open up our Leo, and we are almost done. We need to work on adding our snaps next and also hemming our sleeves. So to hem the sleeve, I'm just taking the bottom of my sleeve here and I'm folding it under to the wrong side. I like to do about a half an inch, a quarter to a half an inch is fine. And then I cover stitch around. You could also use a double needle or do a zigzag on your regular machine. And once we've hemmed both sleeves, we're ready to add our snaps. I like to use the size 16 cam snaps. The metal ones just seem to stay better for me, but you can use whatever you like. 3 snaps is probably plenty for the front and for the back. And I like it for the front to kind of go over the top. So I need an open ring and a male snap for my front piece. I have a snap press, but you could also use a hand tool. So I'm going to go ahead and put my open ring on that front of my snap placket and then press down, adding the male snap piece to my front. Here I am finishing up the male pieces. As you can see, once I show you a little closer, the male pieces are going to be kind of on the inside of that front piece. And then when I do the back, since I want it to overlap, I'm going to have my male piece or my female pieces on the outside of my back placket, if that makes sense. So that when I go to snap it, the front will overlap the back and it will lay nice and flat. Here I am just continuing to add my snaps. I like doing these open ring snaps because you do not have to poke holes in your fabric. Just makes it easier for me to get everything lined up, and it goes pretty quick. Also, I wanted to point out, if you did not have interfacing, you could have just used some woven on the inside of those plackets. That would have also worked as well. Here we've got our snaps added, and we are done with our Kitty Leo. You can see the front overlaps the back. And we are all done. Thank you for following along, guys. I hope you enjoyed this, and be sure to follow for more.